Hey, it's Ray with Sober Without God. And today I'm going to talk to you today about being sober. And I am 2.5 years alcohol free just this past week. And years and half years are really significant for me. A lot of people don't celebrate their days of sobriety, but I do. I think it's a big deal. I'm really proud of myself. And so I want to celebrate it with you by talking to you about how I got sober and how I got to 2.5 years, and hopefully talk to you about my success. And if you're thinking about it, or maybe you're on the way and maybe you're on this journey with me, then I can hopefully share some encouragement with you. So, how did I get to 2.5 years? Well, I also want to talk to you a little bit today about some of the things that maybe get in our way um, of that. I can tell you it's the old standby. I got here one day at a time. And in the beginning, it was 1 minute at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 second at a time, and that's exactly how I got here. And the day I wanted to start was the day that I really believed I could do something. And I've said it on this channel before, and I will say it again, and I will leave a link below. But I had to have help, and I had help from the Reframe app. And if you have heard of it, or if you haven't heard of it, either way, it's an app that you can get on your phone, and they have meetings that you don't have to show your face in. You can just sit in the background and listen. They have forums, but they have all kinds of help and advice and support. And it's not like a AA group or Celebrate Recovery or any other kind of meeting that you have to show up in person for. You do it all on your phone. And it is a unique, scientifically approached way for you to uh, get alcohol free. And they have different ways for you to do it, whether you're just sober curious or you want to go full alcohol free. They have all different ways to do it. And I found success on there with one-on-one coaching, and also I found my own little group to be a part of. And so I did it day by day. That's one thing. But I do want to talk about three things that can possibly get in your way. Three things that one way or another got in my way to some degree. And so let's talk about people, places, and things. So if you're thinking about quitting, people can get in your way. So you may be in a situation where your family is not supportive, or I've heard a lot of stories about spouses who are not supportive. Your spouse may drink, or your spouse may want to keep alcohol in the house, or your your friend or your roommate or whomever. I was lucky enough to have a spouse who was okay. We're getting all the alcohol out of the house, and we're done with it. And I had support from the beginning. And I didn't tell anybody that I was doing sobriety until about 3 weeks in, and I finally told my spouse. And from then on, she was completely and totally 100% supportive. My children I didn't tell them until later on, but they were supportive. It's good to have people and family and friends who are supportive. And you may be in a situation where your friends may be social drinkers, and they may be able to stop at one or two drinks, but you can't. And they don't understand the difficulty and the problems that you're going through. And that's why being part of a community like Reframe is a place where you can learn to talk to people, and other people share their journey with you. And if you get into an alcohol free community, you can listen to other people and be like, hey, I'm not alone. Other people are struggling with the same thing I am. And you can learn to set boundaries, and you can learn to have these tough conversations with people. And it's hard. It's hard when you have to tell somebody for the first time. And I've had this conversation with several people, and you tell them, and they don't know. And you say, hey, I had a drinking problem. I had an alcohol problem for a long time, but I overcame it, and now I'm alcohol free. And you don't have to say sober, and you don't have to say alcoholic. You can say I'm alcohol free now, and I choose not to drink. And being in a community helps with things like that. So people can get in your way. You may have family who looks down on you for stopping drinking, or you may have friends who look down on you. And if that's getting in your way, being part of a community can help you find some of the answers to that. So the other thing that might come in your way are places. So you may have places in your life that are triggers for you. So if you, for instance, I know for years while I drank, there was always a liquor store on the way home. And I knew if one liquor store was closed, I knew where another liquor store was open, and I lived close to a state line. So if one was closed for a certain holiday or a day of the week, I could just go across the state line and I knew which one was the closest one. And for me, that kind of idea was prominent in my mind. And for a while, after I stopped drinking, I would have to go a different way home. And I told my alcohol free coach, I told him, I said, there's not a short way home for me not to hit a liquor store. And he said, doesn't matter. Right now, the most important thing is for you to have that out of your mind and not think about it. And so for a while, I just traveled a long way home to not go past the liquor store. And that's what I had to do. And for some people, it may be first thing they want to do, or maybe on the weekend they go to a sports bar, or they go hang out with their friends at happy hour, or after work, that's where everybody goes, and they go out to a restaurant. Everyone has a few drinks, and that may need to discontinue for a while. Or you may have to have a conversation with everyone and say, hey, this is not the lifestyle, or I'm giving it up for 30 days, or I'm giving it up for 60 days. Or you may have mocktails or whatever, but things can get in your way. Places can get in your way. I mean, places can get in your way, and you can't allow places to get in your way if that's what you really want. So people and places, and now things. What other things? Just miscellaneous things can get in your way. So what things could possibly get in your way? Well, any kind of emotional baggage you're dragging around, anxiety and depression and thoughts, and the ideas that we carry, we hold on to. I had on these ideas that, well, I'm gonna be able to sleep. I won't be able to get a good night's rest if I don't have alcohol, or I'll have to deal with my problems for real if I stop drinking, or the idea that I deserve this. I deserve to have this alcohol when I get home because I've had a tough day, and I worked hard today, and this is what I deserve to have. And enabling myself, because I'm a good enabler also to other people, but I was also enabling myself. And those are things, miscellaneous things that keep us on that alcohol fueled train straight to the grave if we allow it to. What things are holding you back from putting alcohol down and getting on with the rest of your life? Because there's a lot of things that do that. And I encourage you just to stop and make a list, do a mental inventory, step back away from yourself. And even if you have to, just put it away for 24 hours and say, why do I crave this so much? Is it something I have to have? And I've gone over it in other videos too. There's tests you can take to see if you really do have an alcohol problem. And the World Health Organization has a test you can take to see how many drinks you have per day, to see if you have an alcohol problem. Put it away. Just stop drinking for a little while. You can say, well, I can kick it for 24 hours or 48 hours or 36 hours. I can kick it for a week or two, but do you keep going back to it? And if you think you have a problem, talk to your medical care professional, talk to your doctor. And that is also a very difficult conversation. I remember when I told my doctor and finally came clean, because they give you those sheets when you walk in, and what medications are you on? And do you exercise regularly? All the questions that we lie to. Do you drink regularly? And how many drinks do you have a week? And do you say, yes, I drink, or no, I don't drink? And I finally told my healthcare professional, I've been a regular drinker for 20 years, and I finally stopped. And my doctor, the day I told her that, said, oh my goodness, I never would have guessed. She said, your blood work was always a little off, but I'm glad you told me. And I felt better because I was finally being honest with someone. And I told my therapist, and I was able to be honest with people for the first time. And being vulnerable about yourself and being honest with other people, those are things that you have to do to be able to get off, to get all that stuff and all that junk out of your mind, out of your heart. And drinking isn't just about putting a drink aside. It's about clearing your mind. It's about clearing your heart. It's about being honest with people. But if you want to be a different person, I can tell you It is absolutely worth it. And if you want to be a different person, you've got to get all that stuff out of your head, out of your heart, and become a different person. And it is worth it. 2.5 years later, I can tell you my life is completely different and my life has changed. So I would encourage you to check out the Reframe app. I would encourage you to have a conversation with your family healthcare provider. I would encourage you to look up, there's other sobriety resources out there just besides Reframe. But I encourage you on your journey as well. Send me a message, leave a comment below, and I'll be thinking about you as you go on your journey as well.